Well, good morning, folks, and welcome to the Steve Comic Express on a very chilly morning. Yes, indeed, 29 degrees, frost everywhere. And it is a Friday, folks, a Friday. Go figure. And we are going to have a little bit of a conversation today. And thank you again for joining me. I might have to move this up. Bear with me, folks. There we go. Want the seatbelt to get in the way to the microphone. Artistrybysteve.com. Thank you, folks, for visiting that and giving me your support. And thank you, Dennis Small, for putting on a great hosting job at Jake and Johnny's Lounge. We had excess of 35 comics. They just coming from everywhere. Excuse me. And I thank them all for showing up and supporting the mic. Don't forget, next week, the only open mic John Parada's Comedy Factory will have will be the Pub on Park on Monday, the Thanksgiving holiday. And thank you very much for your support. Well, folks, socialism. Oh, guess what's on the docket in the House in Congress today? That's right. Guess what's on the docket at the Congress today? Condemning socialism. Well, maybe we should have that conversation, right, folks? Maybe we should have the conversation. Download Upside, use my promo code 6MMJUU, and get a bonus for your first fill up. You know, every time you pump gas, you get money. Every time you go out and eat, you get paid. To go food, get paid. Of course, if it's all sponsored in the app. And shopping, get paid. There's no strings attached, folks. This is an app that pays you to download it. When you see the money accumulate in the app and you want to move it over to your debit account, PayPal, gift cards, Amazon, and the like, guess what happens? You never get charged a fee. Ever. Never. It's your money. You're spending it anyway. You're making a little bit here and there. It accumulates. Why not enjoy that extra money you didn't plan on? Upside. Well, socialism, folks, is something. Our service men and women do not go into battle or into the service to defend. Socialism is not what America is. America is not about socialism. It's about freedom. Not about communism. It's about freedom. America stands on freedom, its constitution, the right to practice your religion of your choice. And again, we're all going to have the same God one day, you'll see. You have a right to assemble, to own a weapon to defend yourself or go hunting. You have a right for freedom of speech. You have a right for capitalism to earn as much money as you can, employing people, because rich people employ people. Excuse me. If without the rich and without the people who are smart enough to make the investments to pour money into society, is the problem. Not Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump. And New York will soon find out they continue to be a bunch of stupid idiots who go to a voting booth and vote. That's right. I had a friend who called me up and said, Steve, I need you for a fundraiser up here in New York. I'll pay your hotel. I'm going to give you good money. I said, oh, no, that's not going to happen. Thank you very much. He said, why? I said, don't want anything to do in New York. That's right. Didn't want anything to do in New York. Not a little thing, not anything. You can keep your city. You can drop your ball for 2026 and you can enjoy your new socialism life. It's not what we fight for in this country. Because socialism is about taxing businesses. They would assuredly leave New York. It's about taxing the rich and taking homes away from people, making your homes invaluable, one of your single most investments that you make in your life will become not of value anymore. It'll be destroyed, taken away from you. Is that what you want, folks? I hope not. When Mamdani ran his socialist communist slash election, a lot of blind people behind him clapping and holding signs, and I look very dangerous, very dangerous indeed commercial. And I believe every one of those people that put out that commercial should be brought up on charges of treason in this country. 100%. And I am such that, and I don't believe in the death penalty, folks. I am not a believer of the death penalty. So you're never going to get me to support it. Ever. I believe in life, and God has the decision-making process, who lives and who dies. But I know that treason could come with a death penalty. But I say put them in jail for the rest of their lives. I believe it. Even that astronaut, that idiot, gets out there and tells people to ignore orders coming from our executive chief officer, Donald Trump, and their commanders in the service. Socialism and communism is going to stick its claws into this country's, educating them on basic education, but to be violent against us in our country. And I believe what Turning Point, turning young minds to actually see the love of freedom, the Constitution, and our religion, and bringing God into your life is a priority. And those young voters, soon to be, will head to a voting booth, folks. And when they do, when they head to that voting booth, they're not going to be voting for Democrats. They're going to be voting for Republicans. I tried to run an event for Charlie Kirk shortly thereafter his murder, his assassination, which led to threats upon people, my life, threats upon me. I had a visit from the FBI at my house concerned about me, wanting information. I gladly gave them my phone to examine, to go on and see if they could extrapolate information they needed with the hopes of capturing this person who did that. They said they have the ability. But we live in a society that even me, who was trying to have a moment, and it wasn't my idea, by the way, it was a friend of mine, a movie producer as well as a comedian, Nick Albanese, who came up with the idea. And I went with it. But when you got a person like myself who gets 5.4 million views in a 28-day period, that small meeting blew up into a very large meeting. It had to be canceled. But I'm a believer that at some point we have to bring it back. We have to bring it back, and we have to have a discussion. Because I know the youth will drive this bus of Turning Point, but we also need the adults in the room to help support them. They're going to need our help because we have life experiences, folks, and their minds are just developing. And we need to help Turning Point take this country to its next chapter, where the pews in all religious houses of worship are filled once again. where the mission is to remember God, is to pray to God, where the mission is to have God in your life and your constitution, your country, and your family. We cannot allow liberals, Democrats, to get into our families and split them up, to take our children and change their genders, of which they can't do, to take our children and rape them by putting boys in girls' spaces. We cannot allow Democrats to walk into our town squares and say, that saint, like in Boston, Massachusetts, I believe St. Michael, the patron saint of the police department, should be taken down because it's religious, because of a few people. And the ACLU, as I've coined the phrase, the Antichrist Lawyers Union, another scourge on this country, looking to have that patron saint of the police department removed. Where they've walked in on Christmas and destroyed it. Where they say happy holiday. No, I'm sorry. As a piano player who gets booked for Christmas parties, that's exactly how I get booked. Anybody who calls my phone and say, hi, we need a piano for a holiday party. I mean, you mean a Christmas party? Well, no, a holiday party. Then you need a different piano player. That money means nothing to me. Or telling me what songs to play at a Christmas party, not to offend anybody. You kidding me? Good morning, Ruth. You're gonna redact my songs? No. You need a different piano player. Don't need your money. I don't care if the gig paid $2,000. I don't play it. So I'm a very strong person when it comes to my religion. I'm not a fake. I'm not one of your Christians/Catholics. See, Catholics could be Christians, but Christians can't be Catholics. But in either case, I'm not one of those Catholics/Christians who wear a crucifix around his neck, go to church, and turn around and vote Democrat. I'm sorry. Because if I do, then I just spit in the face of Jesus Christ. I just spit in the face of my Lord. I just ripped and burned the Bible. And my actions would have been worse than sticking the crucifix in a jar of urine and calling it art. And where did that happen? In New York. You see, I'm not one of those Catholics, Christians, who vote Democrat. That's like a fox coming up to you and saying, "Hey, I'll guard your hen house for you. Don't worry, it's in good paws or good hands." And then the next day you go and find out that there are no chickens and no hens, and the eggs have all been eaten, and you wondered why. So if you're a Democrat sitting in the pews of a Catholic church, a pox on all your houses. Really, I mean it sincerely. Because you're nothing but a spy, and you're nothing but a destruction to our Catholic or Christian values. Jews, especially, who have suffered so many scourges in life, so many takedowns where you left slavery and almost entered into a world of extinction by the hands of a Nazi, of which the Democrat Party uses so freely. And then you forget. And just like the voters in New York, and you're one of them, would vote for socialism, anti-Semitism, because Mandami is anti-Semitic. 100%. Look at his videos. Mandani is a anti-Semitic piece of human waste. You voted for him. What's the matter? The vision and the remembrance of Auschwitz left your brain already? You forgot you forgot your history where Ramsey enslaved you to build his pyramids and Moses led you to freedom and America ended Nazism and ended the killings in Germany, Auschwitz, in all those death camps. But everybody turns their back on America in the end and forgets the fact that we were there to save the Jews. And the Republican Party was there to save slavery. You have short memories, man. You have short memories. But you're so quick to hate those who freed you, those who saved you. You're so quick. You're so quick to hate and want to kill the very people who gave you freedom. You forgot. I find the Jewish population a very, 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 very confused bunch of people. Yeah, there are a bunch of smart ones, but I find I find you very confusing. Why you would point a loaded gun to your head and pull the trigger baffles the hell out of me. And it takes a Roman Catholic who has his religion because you crucified your God. You did. And that curse led you through life forever for doing just that very act. You crucified your God, which is mine. And that led you into many bad decisions in life, where it almost led you to extinction. Almost led you to extinction, folks. And you're ready to be led into extinction once again by the way you vote. And I don't know how to save you. Why isn't the rabbi not teaching you well? The rabbi forgot how to teach you well when you go to synagogues and temples. You forgot. What's the matter, America? You forgot that the four founders of this country who signed our Constitution was for our benefit, our freedom. But we send our military into wars to defend freedom, not socialism. So personally for me, my opinion, I hope Donald Trump bitch slaps Mondani today. I hope he puts him in his place and angers him even more. For me, you can't. Otherwise, I would say to Donald Trump, you told the story of the snake on every campaign trail. Every campaign trail, you told that story. We had to relive listening to that snake story over and over and over again. And I hope you share this rant, and I hope you get this part of the rant and send it to the people who work with Donald Trump. You shared that snake story with us over and over again to the point I didn't want to hear it anymore. But I remembered it well. I didn't forget. And now you're going to meet with the snake? And if you get bitten, Donald Trump, my president, if you get bitten, you will assuredly die. You will assuredly die. That's your story. I want you to treat the snake how the snake is to be treated. Because he'll slither away and destroy and bite everybody in this country. Mamdani is not to be trusted, nor is any socialist, and for that matter, nor are any Democrats, elected officials, that is. Folks, it's always a pleasure. I hope to teach you each time. I'm not out there to promote violence. I'm out there to say our weapon of choice is the voting booth, and I hope damn well you use it. And you got to vote more than you did in the presidential election this coming up year. You better. Otherwise, we're going to be subjected to impeachments and everything to root America. If that's the road you want to take, then you don't deserve to be in America. Move Rosie O'Donnell to Ireland or some other country. Get the hell out. We'll figure it out without you. Have a nice day.